The cages stank of blood. The auction hall of the Grath Syndicate was carved from stone, lit by burning braziers, its walls echoing with the snarls of beasts and the cries of the condemned. Buyers in dark robes haggled in harsh voices, trading coin for life. Among the rows of cages, alien bodies huddled, thin, beaten, eyes hollow. Some were destined for labor, others for sport. The unlucky ones were purchased for slaughter. Elara clutched the rusted bars of her cage, her thin frame trembling. Her once blue skin was mottled with grime, her silver hair ragged. At 18 cycles, she had expected a future of study and family. Instead, she had been captured in a raid, dragged to this pit, and marked not as a worker, but as meat. Her cellmate, an older alien, whispered with cracked lips, "Don't beg. They like it when you beg." But Elara's heart broke with every passing minute. Hunger gnawed at her. Fear pressed like iron. She could hear the auctioneer already shouting over another victim's price. When her cage opened, she stumbled forward into the glaring torchlight. The crowd murmured, "Fresh. Too thin. Soft bones. Not worth much." The auctioneer lifted her chin with a clawed hand, displaying her like a cut of flesh. Zerani female. Young. Tender. Sold for processing, unless someone has other use. The words shattered her. Processing. Meat. Her legs nearly gave way. She saw the faces in the crowd, eyes sharp and cruel, voices muttering numbers. And then she saw him, a human. He stood at the back, arms crossed, dark jacket dusty from travel. His eyes, steady, unyielding, met hers. Unlike the others, he didn't look at her like food. He looked at her like a person. Desperation seized her. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her dirt-streaked face. "Please," her voice cracked, hoarse with terror. "Sold for meat. Human, hold me, use me, but get me out of here." The crowd roared with laughter at her plea. "Pathetic," someone barked. "She begs to be owned." But the human's face didn't change. He stepped forward. 1,000 credits, he said firmly. The auctioneer blinked. "One what?" "She's not worth." 1,000, the human repeated. His tone was cold iron. "Do you want my money or not?" Silence fell. No one dared to challenge. With a slam of the gavel, the auctioneer spat. "Sold." Elara stumbled when the chains were cut. She braced for a blow, for cruelty, for the worst. Instead, the human draped his coat over her shoulders. "Stand. You're safe now." She flinched. "Safe? But you bought me." "I bought your freedom," he said quietly. "My name's Kael. Come." Her mind reeled. She followed, too stunned to resist, as he led her out of the hall, through winding corridors and into the cool air of night. His ship waited in the docking bay, sleek, weather-scarred, but alive with hums of energy. As the hatch closed behind them, Elara collapsed, sobbing into her hands. Kael knelt beside her, his voice steady. "No one will harm you here. Not while I draw breath." In the days that followed, Elara's body slowly healed aboard Kael's freighter, the Iron Dawn. He gave her food, real food, not scraps, and clean water. He gave her space to rest in a small cabin, soft blankets for the first time in months. But her spirit, that took longer. At night she would jolt awake, shivering, convinced she was back in the cages. Kael never scolded. He simply brought her tea, sat by the door, and kept watch until she slept again. One morning, she whispered, "Why? Why what? Why did you spend so much on me? I'm nothing." They were right, I'm weak. Worthless. Kael's jaw tightened. "No one is worthless. You're alive. That's enough." Her eyes filled. "You don't even know me." I know what they would have done to you, he said. And that was enough reason. Weeks turned into months. Elara regained strength. She helped in the galley, learned how to navigate by starlight, even smiled sometimes when Kael told stories of Earth, blue skies, forests, oceans vast as worlds. One evening, as stars drifted beyond the viewport, she sat across from him. I begged you to use me, she whispered, shame burning in her chest. Because I thought that was the only way out. I thought my body was all I had left to trade. Kael looked at her, sorrow in his eyes. Elara, the fact you thought that shows how much they broke you. But listen to me. You never owed anyone your body. You never had to give yourself to deserve life. You're not alive because you're useful. You're alive because you matter. Tears slipped down her cheeks. For the first time, she believed him. Their journeys carried them across lawless sectors, delivering supplies to refugee colonies, smuggling medicine to blockade zones. Kael never asked her to stay, never bound her. Yet Elara chose, again and again, to remain. She became his partner in more than name. She managed the ship's charts, patched the hull with steady hands, and stood watch when Kael slept. Her laughter returned, her hair grew long again, her eyes shone. But shadows of the past still haunted her. On one mission, they passed a slaver convoy. Elara froze at the sight of cages through the viewport, memories threatening to drag her under. Kael placed a hand on her shoulder. We can run, or we can fight. Your choice. Her hands shook. Then she drew in a breath, lifted her chin. Fight. And together they did. Months later, as they sat in the galley sharing a meal, Elara looked at him with quiet wonder. You gave me back more than freedom, she said. You gave me myself. I don't know how to repay you. Kael's smile was gentle. You already have. She tilted her head. How? You chose to live, he said simply. That's more than I could ever ask. Years passed. On the Rim colonies, whispers spread of a human captain and a blue-skinned woman who freed slaves and burned syndicate ships from the stars. To the broken, they were hope. To the slavers, they were terror. And to each other, they were family. Sometimes, when night was quiet and the stars endless, Elara would remember the cold cage, the torchlight, the way she had begged through her tears. And she would turn to Kael, her voice steady now, and say, You saved me. Every time his reply was the same. No. You saved yourself. I just gave you the chance. And together, they would look out into the void, not as captor and captive, not as rescuer and rescued, but as two souls who had chosen life, side by side.